It was a crisp April morning when I pulled up to my driveway, thinking I was coming home. My old Civic still purred like it always did, loyal as ever, even when people weren't. I'd just gotten back from Springville. Quick trip to check on my oldest friend, Chloe. Poor thing lost her brother this winter, then got sick right after. She needed me, and honestly, I needed her too. A little break. A little distance from the tension back home, from Carla's perfume that somehow clung to every damn corner, from the footsteps upstairs that didn't feel like family anymore. I grabbed my bag, stepped up to the door, slid my key in. Smooth as always. But when I turned it, click. Nothing. I tried again. Harder. Still nothing. My own door. My own key. My own house. And it was shutting me out like I was a stranger. At first, I thought, maybe there'd been a break-in. Maybe they'd changed the locks for safety. But then I saw it. A tiny sticker by the handle. Secure Lock Pros. Installed Friday, 3 p.m. Friday. I left Thursday night. That twist in my gut. It wasn't confusion. It was knowing. Something had been decided without me. I rang the bell. Knocked. Waited. No sound. No movement. Not even a shadow in the curtains. My hydrangeas, the ones I planted every spring since '97, hacked down to stumps. The mailbox still had that dent from when Andy hit it with a baseball bat years ago. And that muddy mat still read Home Sweet Home. I stared at it a long time. That word, home. Funny how it can stop belonging to you even when it's got your fingerprints all over it. I called Andy. Straight to voicemail. Hey, it's Mom. I'm home, but can't get in. Call me, okay? I waited in the car. 5 minutes. 10. 20. Nothing. And then I saw it. Their shiny black SUV sliding back into the driveway. The one I helped them pay off when times were tough. I walked up again, rang again. Nothing. That's when it hit me, not like a punch, but like a slow freeze spreading through your veins. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. A line drawn through my name. In my own dirt. I didn't scream. Didn't cry. Just stood there, letting the silence swallow me whole. Then I turned, got in my car, and parked 2 blocks down. Watched my own windows like a stranger. At 2 a.m., I woke in the driver's seat, my neck aching, my hands stiff. Drove to a gas station just to move, just to exist somewhere. Bought a coffee I didn't want. The kid at the counter smiled, said, "Rough night?" And that simple kindness almost broke me. By dawn, I was back. Watched as the lights flicked on. Carla stepped outside, silk robe, mug in hand. My mug. The one that said Boss Lady. She looked around, sipped slow, then went back in. That was it. The moment it all clicked. The heartbreak turned into something colder, sharper. I didn't call. Didn't text. Didn't cry. I just started thinking. Planning. Because you can change the locks on a house. But you can't lock out a storm that's already rolling in. Now tell me something. What would you do if the people you loved most decided you didn't belong anymore? Would you walk away quietly? Or would you find a way to make them remember who built that home in the first place? Listen close. Because this isn't just about a house. It's about what it meant. Every crack in those walls, every creak in the floorboard, they told a story. My story. The house wasn't some mansion. 3 beds, 1.5 baths, ceilings so low you could sweat a fly with a stretch. Those old popcorn walls? Never did fix them. But they held more warmth than any fancy condo ever could. Jim and I bought it in '74, young, broke, and stubborn. Down payment scraped from coupons, extra shifts, and a few miracles. Andy was barely walking, tugging at my skirt while I signed the papers. The kitchen had avocado green appliances that hummed too loud, a tub that always rusted at the drain. But that backyard, caught the sunset just right. Every fall, the oak out front turned the color of fire. That's what sold me. And that porch? That's where Jim passed. Just gone. Coffee cup in hand, newspaper open to the crossword. I walked out with toast in my glasses, ready to nag him about the gutters. By the time I noticed something was off, it was already over. 12 years back. I lived alone since. Andy came around at first. Sunday dinners. Light chatter. That kind of easy rhythm that makes you think maybe the old days aren't gone, just quiet. Then came the job promotions. The new tone. The distance. And Carla. Sharp cheekbones, sharper tongue. Marketing type, good at selling things that aren't worth half the price tag. Always looking like she smelled something sour. Married Andy 3 years after Jim passed, and she made it clear from day one. She didn't like the house. Closed-off kitchen. Floors creak like a horror movie. Smells musty. I knew what she meant.
She meant me.
They started downtown, glass walls, steel, everything too clean, too cold. But when Andy's job cut back and Carla's projects fizzled, they needed a place to land. Just for a bit, Mom, he said. A bridge. You know how bridges work, you hold the weight until they reach the other side. They showed up one Sunday. Suitcases, garment bags, a TV too big for any wall. Carla didn't say thank you. She gave orders. Desk goes here. Declutter that corner. By dinner, my wedding album was in the hall closet. 20 years on that side table. Gone in an hour. Andy half smiled. She's just making it livable. It was livable, I said. He smiled tighter. Yeah, but modern. Week 1. Furniture rearranged. Week 2, my coffee maker swapped for some chrome thing with pods. Week 3, no dairy because Carla's plant-based now, and my milk stinks. I wasn't the owner anymore. I was a shadow with slippers on. She called me Nora, not Mom. Like she couldn't bring herself to use the title. I bit my tongue.
Cooked. Cleaned.
Kept quiet. She needed quiet vibes. No crime shows, no radio. I told myself it was temporary. That they'd find their footing, thank me, and move out. But nights stretched into months. The air got heavier. Then one night, I heard them in the kitchen. Carla's voice low. She leaves dishes everywhere. Andy, she said in her ways. Carla, it's cluttered. Bad flow. Andy, she's trying. Carla, trying ain't cutting it. I froze by the sink. Soapy hands shaking. Couldn't even swallow the hurt. After that, I stopped mentioning the little things. The missing vase, the curtains replaced, my shows deleted from the DVR. I told myself, let it go, Nora. It's only for a bit. Then Chloe called. Weak voice, coughing, said she needed me for a few days. I didn't hesitate. Of course, honey. I'll be there. I left Friday morning. They changed the locks that afternoon. That house, it held Andy's firsts. His first steps down the hall, his first word. Up, at breakfast, arms reaching for Jim. I can still feel those tiny fingers clutching my nightshirt during thunderstorms. Jim used to warn me. He's got wander in him, Nora. Too much drift. One day, he'll break your heart. I'd laugh. Wave him off. He loves us. And Jim would mutter, he loves what we give. When Andy first brought Carla home for dinner, I wanted to like her. Really did. But she barely looked around, didn't offer to help with dishes, said my roast was heavy. Asked if I had kombucha. I remember feeling embarrassed in my own home. Jim caught my eye, gave a small shake of his head. But Andy was glowing, so I stayed quiet. Because sometimes, when you love someone too much, you don't see the chill creeping in until it's already iced over everything. And that's the thing about warmth. It doesn't always fade. Sometimes it's stolen. But warming up? That was just the start of the chill. You ever notice how silence hurts louder when it comes from family? They tied the knot in one of those rustic chic barns outside the city. Lavender on the tables, string quartet playing slow, mason jars glowing like a Hallmark movie come to life. Everyone whispering perfect, so elegant, so them. I wore my special blue dress. Sat by Jim's empty chair.
Smilade till mig extrembled.
Pretended not to notice the way Carla's mother looked at me, like I'd wandered in from the wrong decade. Didn't say a word when Andy made his speech. Didn't cry when they danced. But 2 months before that picture-perfect day, he'd shown up at my door. Folder in hand, soft eyes, that same, need a favor look I'd seen since he was 10. Just to ease the stress, Mom. 10 grand. Didn't blink.
Didn't ask.
Jim would have called it soft. I called it parenting. After the wedding, visits started to fade. Calls shortened from warmth to formality, from hey mom to how you doing? Always a meeting, a deadline, a bad connection. Funny how cell signals go bad, right when hearts start to drift. Then came the money asks. Short squeeze.
Surprise bill.
Client delayed payment. Always something. At first, it was little things, car insurance, groceries, a card balance that just got out of hand. Then bigger, accountant fees, taxes, temporary help. Every time, Andy promised he'd pay me back. I always said, don't worry about it. Because part of me hoped that love was like debt, that one day he'd remember to pay it back with time, or kindness, or maybe just gratitude. But instead, locks changed. On the house I taught him to walk in, on the porch where his father died, on the walls that held our laughter. And the woman who never wanted me there was the one holding the keys. I still remember one morning, just after they'd moved in. I made coffee the way I always did, 2 spoons, splash of cream. She walked in, sniffed it, and set the cup down like it offended her. I do pour over only. I smiled. Tea instead. She tilted her head. That calculating little glance. No offense, Nora, but this place feels stuck. Stuck.
Yeah.
Frozen in time. How long you lived here? 47 years. She smiled like she'd won something. I looked around. My lace curtains. Worn floors. The cross-stitch that said love grows here. Yeah, it was stuck. But it was mine. I wanted to say time stopped because I was happy here. But I bit my tongue. For Andy. I thought she'd ease up once she saw who I was. Once she realized I wasn't competition. But she never did. And the worst part wasn't her doing it. It was him letting it happen. The night they moved in, I made lasagna. Real homemade, 3 cheeses, slow-simmered sauce. I even set the table nice, lit a candle, made it feel special.
Carla took one bite.
Do you have any gluten-free options? Andy just poured water, changed the subject. That should have been my sign. But I told myself, my boy's home again. We'll find our rhythm. Just temporary, he said. Till we sort things out. Weeks turned into months. The bridge they promised became a border. First, it was small things. A drawer cleared for convenience. Then the pantry. Then the master bedroom. Better light, closer to the bathroom, Carla said. I moved.
No fuss.
Told myself, it's just walls. Next, the bookshelves. Her books, white, gold, all pristine. Mine, creased, marked, lived. Can we tuck these away? She asked. Which ones? The ones that don't match the vibe. All of them. Soon, my kettle was too loud. My tins were clutter. My utensils donated. One night, I walked into the living room with my tea. Carla was on the couch, stretched out, robe tied loose. Didn't even look up. Mind knocking? Knocking. Before you come in. It's the living room. I'm chillin'. I just stood there, tea cooling in my hand. That night, I stayed in my room, ate in silence, watched my shows on a tablet with headphones. The house didn't feel like mine anymore, just a space I was renting from my own mistakes. The next morning, my slippers, left by the couch, were neatly set by the door, like an eviction notice. When I made oatmeal at 7 a.m., same as I had for decades, Carla came down and wrinkled her nose. I need quiet mornings for my routine. Almost laughed. Instead, I apologized. In my kitchen. Then came the mail. She started sorting it. Andy let her. Open my pension statement. I thought we should track things, she said.
We.
I repeated. Her smile didn't even twitch. They had already decided I was the ghost in the house. Something old and in the way. The morning I left for Chloe's, Carla offered me a ride to the station. I declined. She hugged me light, too light. Take your time, she said. Didn't know what she meant until my key stopped working. But before I left that morning, I overheard something. Just one small sentence from the kitchen that changed everything. And that's when the story stopped being about loss and started being about payback. The first thing I noticed when they moved in wasn't the mess or the noise. It was the lack of basic courtesy. You can feel it drain out of a place, like heat sneaking through a crack. At first, you grab a sweater. Then one day, you're freezing solid, and you don't even realize when it happened. It started small. Jim's old recliner, the patched leather one with his elbow groove, vanished from the living room. Moved to the garage, Carla said. Didn't fit. No one asked, I replied. She just tilted her head, that nurse-to-confused patient smile. Thought it was obvious. We needed space.
We.
Then went the rugs, entryway, trip hazard, sunflower bath mat gross. Slowly, my home turned into a showroom. Decisions were made around me, not with me. I was the dusty plant they forgot to water, but couldn't quite throw out yet. I tried talking to Andy, twice. First time, during his laptop break. Andy, can we talk? I'm feeling on eggshells.
He sighed.
Mom, we've got a lot going on. You're personalizing. I am personal, I said. This is my house. He snapped the laptop shut. Grateful, Mom, but it's stressful for Carla. She needs order. Order? By pushing me out?
Didn't say it.
Just nodded, tight-lipped. Second time was at the table. I want you to understand something, I said. I'm not a guest here. I live here. This is my home. From the kitchen, Carla said, casual as rinsing a blender. Then don't act like one. That one stung. Andy didn't defend me. Just shifted, muttered, calm down. 2 words meant to hush people, not help them. I cried quiet that night, the kind of worn-out crying you do when you know nothing's changing. Almost called Chloe, but didn't want to say it out loud. They're wiping me out of my own life. Even the fridge wasn't safe. Pickles gone. Yogurt replaced with seed jars. My name off leftovers, because I wasn't sure labeling was still allowed. I dared to bake a casserole that Saturday. Carla walked in, sniffed. Meat. Her face pinched. Please do that when I'm out. I'm sensitive to smells. Andy added, come on, Mom. She's plant-based. I said, well, I'm sane-based. Nobody laughed. That night, I went to bed early just to avoid them. Used to stay up reading on the couch with a cookie. Now I vanished by 8. Mail started coming opened. Bank statements, too. I asked Andy gently, my mail's been opened. Mix up, he said. Lots coming in. It was addressed to me. He waved me off. Don't worry. So I hid my finances in a closet box. Maybe I could have drawn lines sooner, raised hell, set boundaries. But part of me kept waiting for my son to remember who I was, who he was, the boy I stayed up with during asthma nights, the lunches I skipped so he could eat better. But no, don't personalize, he said. Then came the night I overheard Carla on the phone, her voice low in the hallway. She won't be here next week. Locksmith's Friday.
Pause.
She won't fight. Too passive. Pause again. Just want the house ours already. I froze. Heart pounding. I heard right. Next afternoon, I packed for Springville. Smiled for the first time in weeks. They thought they knew me. They were wrong. It happened 2 days before I came back. Chloe's cough was easing. We sat on her porch, coffee warm, squirrels darting. She talked about her brother's memorial, about outfits being too casual. I listened, but my mind was back home, on oak floors under their feet. 5 days I was gone. Left a stocked fridge, fresh towels, even a note. Back Sunday before noon. No threat, just fact. But they jumped early. I didn't tell Chloe right away. Halfway through dinner, I slipped. Think they're changing the locks while I'm gone. Her knife froze midair. Think. I heard her on the phone. She set the knife down. Nora.
Ai fine, ilid.
Probably just talk. Her talk. Your son's silence, she said. If he's along, he's complicit. That hit hard. We ate in silence. Comfortable, honest silence. Back Sunday, she asked. I nodded. Pre-noon.
No puszcz, no lecture.
Just past the salad bowl. That's friendship. Sunday morning, I woke early. Heart racing. 2-hour drive done in 90 minutes, knuckles white. Neighborhood looked the same. Cars, wind chimes, tulips pushing up. Then the house. Sticker on the door. Secure Lock Pros, Friday 3:15. Handle gleaming wrong. I stepped up.
Key in.
Nothing. Disbelief first. Then confusion. Then calm, the bad kind. The kind that lets you sort through betrayal and still stand upright. I knocked. No answer.
Rang.
Nothing. SUV right there in the driveway. Locked out. Them inside.
No footsteps. No voices.
Just silence. I went back to my car, sat. Checked my phone. No calls.
No texts.
Left Andy a voicemail.
Hey, it's Mom.
I'm home. Locks are changed. Guessing a mix-up. Call me, okay?
No tears.
Just stared at the house. Remembered the first time Jim and I saw it. Back in our 20s, Andy still in diapers. Agent said, outdated, but perfect for the right touch. Jim laughed. Where the touch? We made that home. Brick by brick. Dream by dream. Now, I'm standing outside it. Barred from my own threshold. But what I did next, that's what'll shock them all. At dusk, when the porch light flicked on by itself, I drove off. Not far. Parked 2 blocks down. Wrapped up in the backseat blanket, 1 water bottle by my side. Gas station bathroom around 3 a.m. Bought coffee just to look like someone who belonged there. The clerk looked me over. Kind eyes, didn't ask. Probably saw the story written all over my face. Didn't need to hear it. By dawn, I was back. Parked where I could see the house. Then there she was.
Carla.
Out on my porch, robe silk. Mug that said, Boss Lady. The same mug I gave her last Christmas. She stood there sipping, scanning the morning like she owned it. Queen of what used to be mine. And something inside me shifted. Not a snap, no rage, no storm. Just a settling. Like the ground after an earthquake.
None.
No call. No scene. I drove off. Not running. Fixing. Locksmith. Eddie. Used to fix our screens back when Jim was alive. Short guy, suspenders, smelled faintly of tobacco years after he quit. Jim liked him. Said he was fair and didn't pry.
Perfect.
Found his number in the old phone book, right between my peach pie recipe and Dr. Keller's retired line. Didn't expect him to pick up.
He did.
Eddie here. Eddie, it's Nora Tanner. Small chuckle. Well, I'll be. How's Jim? Gone 12 years. Quiet stretch.
Damn. Good guy.
Yep. What do you need, Nora? Swallowed slow. Locks changed. Didn't ask why. Just. When? Today. Early. 7 sharp. I gave the address. Didn't need to say my house. He knew. Parked 3 blocks away. Walked the rest. Air crisp. Grass damp. Knees aching. Eddie was there already, toolbox in hand. He looked at the handle. Looks different. Not me, I said. Ain't, he replied.
No smiles.
He just worked. I stood, arms crossed, watching as he pulled that sleek, cold junk out of the door. The one Carla had installed, and replaced it with solid brass. Weighty. Honest. Click. That sound hit deep. He handed me 2 keys. Need a third. 2's fine. He nodded once, packed up. Okay, Nora? I exhaled. Now, yeah. Truck rumbled off. 7:32 a.m. Inside. Smelled like lavender. Too strong. Too fancy. Photos gone from the sideboard. Blanket folded like a catalog prop.
But the floor creaked under my feet.
My feet. Fridge clock ticked soft, steady. Sunlight slid across the kitchen wall like it remembered me. Master bedroom. Quilt gone. Curtains blackout beige. Diffuser misting lavender clouds. Unplugged it. Closet half empty. Boxes labeled seasonal donate.
Mine.
Carried him out. Brought mine back in. 2 hours. Not perfect, but enough. Spare room next. Carla's shoes lined up like soldiers. Suitcases monogrammed. Robe hanging in place. One by one, I carried them out. Folded neat, placed on the lawn. Porch edge display. Sun climbed. Jogger slowed, eyebrows up. I waved small. He waved back. Prevetea. The good one, tin hidden behind cereal. Sat at the kitchen table. Steam rising, patience steeping. Waited. 9:11.
Door rattled.
Knock sharp. Nora. Carla's voice, high and tight. Lock issue.
Sip.
Another knock. Harder. Open this door. Why's my stuff on the lawn? Silence from me. Then his voice. The one that used to mean safety. Mom? You in there? I stood. Open the door. Andy, pale. Carla, red as a warning light. Her eyes darted to the bags. My things on the lawn?
Not on the lawn, I said.
On my lawn. Carla snapped. This is uncalled for. So was changing my locks, I said flat. Andy rushed in. Mom, misunderstanding.
No.
They froze. I looked at both. You locked me out. No call. No warning. Left me like some stray on the porch I built. Silence. Then I turned to Carla. You planned it.
Heard you say it. Didn't think I'd fight back.
Carla crossed her arms. Didn't think you'd make a scene?
This isn't a scene, I said.
It's a boundary. Andy reached for the doorknob. I stepped aside. Go in. Grab what's left. He blinked. You serious?
Dead.
Didn't need more words. Their faces said plenty. Carla bitter, jaw tight. Andy lost small. He didn't know what to do when the ground shifted under him. Mom, you're overreacting. I tilted my head. That the word you're picking? He blinked again. Mom, You locked me out, I said. You believed her. His eyes dropped. Didn't know if it was guilt or just shame at being caught. Carla piped up, desperate. You said Sunday. You didn't say what time. Noon, I said. She shrugged, like missing a time-stamp excused betrayal. I stepped toward the doorway. You're now. Get what you need. Her brows pinched. Where are we supposed to stay? Didn't worry about my stay last week. That's not the same, she snapped. Sure is, I said. Except I'm not the one who lied.
Pause.
15 minutes. They went quiet, passed by me without a word. Carla's heels clicking sharp, like gunfire down the hall.
Packet fast. Robe.
Suitcase. Shoes. Andy lingered at the hallway's edge. Why were you being so rigid, Mom? I turned slow. 'Cause I don't bend for people who break me. He swallowed, nodded once, like he almost got it. Almost. But his next words? They decide everything. Whether he finally saw me, or lost me for good. He opened his mouth. Then shut it. I said, invited you when life was rough, Andy. Offered space, warmth. You gave me silence and a push out. He rubbed his forehead. Mom, remember the times I said I didn't feel seen? Yeah, I said. Like disappearing in your own house. No answer. Things in the garage, donation boxes, her writing on them? Still nothing. Said zilch, Andy. That was your choice. Minutes shuffled like guilt in motion. Zippers whispered. Carla packed methodical, cosmetics, diffuser, supplements. Like curating an exhibit no one would visit again. Downstairs, wheels thumped on each step. Send someone for the rest, she said. Won't, I answered. Call, schedule then. We'll come when you're out. No trust. Andy asked.
Nah.
Not now. Carla left first, heels sharp. Andy lingered at the threshold. This isn't how family acts, he said. Long look. Yeah, I told him. It ain't. Close the door. Not a slam. Not a lock. Just closed. Walked the house slow. Absorbed the silence. This time it wasn't tense. It was still. Made tea. Opened the windows. Breeze slipped through, soft as forgiveness. Smelled of lavender, coffee, and something older, mine. Around 11, the phone buzzed. Andy. Voicemail. Then a text. Talk later?
Tense.
We can work through.
Didn't reply.
It wasn't fast, this falling apart. It was years. 1,000 small things I let slide in the name of peace. Now I had real peace. Earned, not borrowed. By noon, the sun claimed the lawn. Bags gone. Porch empty again. No perfume trail, no scolding air freshener. Just the wind brushing the steps where Jim used to sit, coffee in hand, reading sports out loud to no one in particular. Stood by the window, tea in hand, watching the pressed grass where their suitcases had sat. Temporary bruises. They'd bounce back by morning. Houses remember things, you know. Where the bassinet once stood, where the tree leaned just right, where Jim's keys hit the hook after every long shift. They remember the silences too. Cold shoulders, unspoken thank yous. Whole months of words swallowed for the sake of not making waves. Now my spine was straight again.
Dignity, solid.
House, quiet, peaceful. First few weeks, I sat at the kitchen table alone. Not lonely, present. Took an hour to restore the kitchen. Kettle in its old spot. Cookbooks open and dog-eared again. Pickles back in the fridge, where I'd hidden them from her clean streak. Lit the cinnamon candle Chloe gave me. The one Carla called cheap. Burned it anyway. Loved it. Afternoon. Went through the box under the bed. The one Carla never touched. Mortgage payoff. Jim's certificate. Andy's birth record. And one folder marked legal. Flipped it open, and there it was.
The deed.
My name. Mine only. That felt good.
No fireworks.
Just that quiet click of the universe saying yes.
Phone buzzed again. Andy.
Think we can talk soon? Tense, maybe fix.
No.
Not yet. Maybe never. Open contacts. Scrolled. Found the name. Howard Leonard. Lawyer. Handled Jim's probate 12 years back. Professional. Efficient. Didn't ask twice. Dialed. Leonard Westman speaking. Howard, it's Nora Tanner.
Beat.
Then warmth. Nora.
Been a while. Has.
Need to meet. What's the matter? Nothing wrong, I said. Just time to start. The office smelled the same. Leather, ink, quiet power. He looked older. Glasses thicker, hair thinner. Same kind eyes. Nora, he said, shaking my hand. What can I do? I told him everything. Slow. Fact by fact. No drama. He listened. Didn't interrupt. When I finished, he exhaled. Not the first story like that, he said. Too many elders trust family, lose footing. I nodded. I'm not angry, Howard. Just clear. Want the house protected. Papers updated. No one in that position again. He smiled faintly. Revise the will. Lock property. Power of attorney. Someone neutral. Banker, not my son. Done. Quietly.
No threats.
Just facts. He nodded. Understood. I left as the sky turned gold. November's sun melting the edge off everything. Even my anger. Stopped by the grocery. Bought good butter, Jim's favorite jam. Tulips too. Though I knew they wouldn't last long. That night, I ate dinner at the table. Radio humming low. No critiques, no side eyes, no sighs. Opened my mail. Plan to repaint. Peaceful things. Before bed, window cracked. Wind cool. Phone buzzed again. Andy. Still hope we can talk. Didn't reply. Not yet. Maybe someday. Maybe never. Didn't tell Chloe till 2 days later. Wanted to feel it first. The quiet. The stillness. The 6 a.m. toast made without guilt. When I called, she picked up first ring. Well, she asked, no hello. They're gone. Beat of silence. Where? Don't know. Don't care. She laughed, half relief, half disbelief. You did it.
Did.
Locks back.
Yeah.
Stuff. Every pricey shoe. She laughed again, voice cracking. Honey, my throat tightened. Finally owned my life, I said. No permission needed. But the package that came next? That's when peace got complicated again. You know, that kind of quiet that doesn't ache? The kind that feels earned, like the air after a long storm. That's where Nora was. Finally. She'd closed the door not with fury, but with peace. Now mornings smelled like cinnamon again, not perfume that wasn't hers. She wrote lists, sorted the house piece by piece, reclaiming what had been taken not by thieves, but by slow surrender. The curtains went. The books that didn't sound like her stayed in a giveaway pile. Even the gold-framed mirror by the stairs, Carla's pride, came down. Didn't show truth, Nora whispered, leaning it gently against the wall. Her home was finally speaking her language again. Noon brought a find she didn't expect, the wedding album, buried under pillows. She hadn't seen it in years. When she cracked it open, the pages smelled of dust and time, like patience. There was Jim, tie crooked, eyes full of something that never got old. And little Andy, peeking from behind her dress, smile so wide it almost hurt. Her breath caught. Was that the last time she'd felt safe in her own home? When had warmth turned into walking on eggshells? When had kindness become the rope she used to tie her own hands? Evening fell, and a knock came, gentle, uncertain. She knew before she moved. Andy. Alone.
No, Carla.
He stood there, jacket zipped halfway, paper bag in hand. "Hi," he said. "Hi." She returned, no warmth, no frost, just steady ground. "Brought lemon bars. From Carmichael's. Your favorite." She didn't take them. "You think dessert fixes betrayal?" she asked, not cruel, just clear.
He winced.
"Nah, thought maybe it could start something." She let silence hang. "Didn't know she locked you out," he said, voice small. "Didn't stop her either." He swallowed. "I didn't want to lose my place." "You lost it the minute you made me lose mine." He flinched. "Tried again." "She's not bad." "Maybe. But she treated bad." "Didn't mean to." "Didn't stop it either." He looked up then, eyes too much like Jim's. "Forgot who you were?" Nora shook her head.
"Na, son."
"You assumed I'd forget me." That broke something, not loudly but cleanly.
No yelling, no tears.
Just truth, naked and old as her bones. He left with a half-hearted, "Maybe I'll call." "Only if you mean it," she said, shutting the door soft. Weeks passed. No calls. No waiting.
Noche.
Peace had muscle now. She filled her days with small, sacred things, birds at the feeder, cookies in the oven, scarves in boxes with Chloe's old note. Too many necks for one woman. And for the first time in decades, Nora laughed. Then came the letter. No return address, but she knew the handwriting. The weight of Andy's guilt pressing through the envelope. 3 paragraphs.
Simple. Raw. "Mom, you were right."
I mistook silence for peace. I thought keeping calm was love. It wasn't. I saw what I let happen.
"You didn't lose me."
I lost myself. If you never open the door again, I understand. But thank you for teaching me what a home is supposed to feel like. Nora read it twice. Then, once more. She didn't cry. Just smiled the way people do when they know they've finally been seen. The next day, she went to the bank. Miriam, the clerk with soft sweaters and coffee breath, typed quietly. "Remove joint access?" "Yes." "Finalize will update?" "Yes." When the papers printed, Nora's hand didn't tremble. "Done." Miriam asked. "Done," she said. "For good." Back home, she sat by the window, the letter beside her tea. She penned her own. No return, no reply. Just truth. If you're reading this, know the house isn't wood and wire. It's memory. These walls heard laughter, tears, forgiveness, betrayal, and finally, me finding myself again.
Don't read this as goodbye.
Read it as beginning. She sealed it, tucked it into the deed folder, and smiled. Thanksgiving passed quiet. No empty chairs, no ghosts trying to sit where love used to be. Just her, soup and wind. But the next morning, that package on her porch? That twisted everything she thought was over. What was in that box? A letter from Andy? Carla's apology? Or something Jim left behind that never made it to her hands? Because sometimes the past doesn't knock. It ships itself right to your doorstep. Thanksgiving slid by without a knock. No Andy.
No Carla.
No one claiming the house was theirs. And for the first time, that was fine.
No turkey. No crowded basement chairs.
Just squash stew simmering slow, cornbread rising warm in the oven, and an apple pie, store-bought, unapologetically. Because peace didn't mean pretending. It meant not owing joy as payment for pain. The table was set for one. Candle lit, napkin folded, chair pulled close. Not lonely.
Whole.
I lifted my mug of tea toward Jim's old photo. Peace, I said softly. Earned. The wind rattled the window pane and I smiled. Next morning, a small brown package sat among the mail. Chicago postage, Carla's city. My fingers hesitated. Opened it at the sink, like bracing for a cold splash. Inside, a blue velvet pouch. And inside that, a gold-plated locket. Delicate, sentimental. The kind you give when you're trying to rewrite what you broke. I opened it. On one side, me, younger, laughing, Andy on my hip. On the other, blank. No note.
No sorry.
Just the silence of something unfinished. I closed it, placed it beside Andy's old letter on the table, between the sugar jar and my tea mug. Some gestures don't need answers right away. That afternoon, I walked by the lake. Wind sharp, coat tight. Didn't turn back. Leaves pressed wet against the path. There was a bench where Jim used to sit, Andy chasing geese, slipping in the mud, laughter echoing like it belonged to a softer world. And I thought, maybe mothers aren't mean. Maybe we just get tired of apologizing for the cost of loving too deep. When I came home, the porch was empty.
Perfect.
The house untouched, just how I left it. That meant something now. Later, the phone rang.
Clara.
I keep thinking about what you said, she told me. That peace is a kind of fight. I smiled. Strange battle, huh?
Yeah.
But I'm ready for mine. Her voice sounded taller, stronger. Not about rebellion, about arrival. She laughed. You taught me standing doesn't have to be loud. And you're proving it sticks. We talked about nothing and everything, neighbors, old movies, her kitchen paint. When I hung up, I sat by the window, watching the light move across the floor, slow and patient. It felt like a welcome. Evening brought a drawer half open. Inside, old letters, photos. One of Andy, 12, on the driveway, grinning over his first bike. I slipped it into the locket's blank side. Not forgiveness, yet. But maybe a start. Some things don't pass. They just settle into being part of you, less thorn, more scar. That night, snow came. Soft, quiet, the kind that hides hard edges. I woke to the hush of it. White world, new again. Then I saw them, footprints.
From the street to my steps.
Not fresh, not old.
No knock.
No car out front. Just footprints. Someone had come to the door and stopped. Didn't try to come in. Didn't leave a note. And somehow, that felt heavier than words. Noon at the library, the girls behind the counter smiled. Mrs. Tanner. Large print? Oh, and someone left this for you. A parcel, tied with twine.
Tack, Nora.
Read ready. Who left it? Yesterday. Said it was important. It wasn't fancy. Just a worn book of essays, corners bent, margins full of notes. First page, top corner, Andy's handwriting. Marked what matters. If I can't say it, someone already did. I didn't open it there. Tucked it under my arm, carried it home through the snow. At home, I sat by the window, kettle whistling, book unopened on my lap. Finally, I flipped through. One line circled twice in red ink. A mother's silence is not consent, it's survival. I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. Evening. Phone again.
Clara.
Question, she said, and no laughing. Listening. Next spring trip? Train ride, cross-country, senior deal.
You, me.
No kids.
No excuses.
I laughed, loud, easy, like the sound had been waiting for years. Planning an escape? She chuckled.
Nah.
An invitation to our own lives. Think I'll take it, I said. That night, I placed a candle in the window. Not for visitors. Not for watchers. For me. Light for the woman I was before the silences, the years, the forgetting. And if anyone saw it from the street, they'd just see a home that glowed soft, steady, sure of itself. But wait. The story wasn't over. The footprints.
The book.
The package. They weren't coincidences. Because the next knock wasn't from Andy. Wasn't from Carla. It was from the past, finally ready to come inside. Who left the footprints? What truth had been waiting all these years, just outside her door? Because sometimes closure doesn't arrive quiet. It rings the bell. I sat with that book in my lap for what felt like hours. The snow outside piled up like unspoken words between family members, soft and relentless. The essays weren't fancy, just plain talk about life, loss, and standing your ground when the world tries to shove you aside. Andy had marked a few passages, underlined lines, scribbled notes in the margins. His handwriting, scratchy, uneven, still had that familiar rhythm from when he was a kid scribbling grocery lists for me. One line jumped at me. Boundaries ain't walls. They're the lines that let you breathe free. I thought about all those times I let mine blur, bending and folding myself to keep the peace. Peace? More like a truce where I was the only one surrendering. I flipped slowly through the pages, letting the words sink in like warm coffee on a freezing morning. Another note in the margin read, "Forgiveness don't mean forgetting. It means remembering without the knife twist." Was Andy trying to tell me something? Or was he just tossing darts in the dark, hoping one would stick? Why leave the book at the library instead of at the door? Shame? Guilt? Or the first spark of seeing the mess he'd helped create? I set the book down and stared at the candle flickering on the table. The flame danced like it knew secrets I didn't. Sleep came fitful that night. Dreams of keys turning the wrong way, doors slamming shut, then opening just a crack. Woke early, tea in hand. Footprints outside had faded under fresh snow. Who left them? Andy, probably, testing the waters without diving in. I swept the porch, the broom scraping the wood like old memories being dragged into daylight. The neighborhood stirred slow, kids building snowmen, tires crunching on icy roads.
Felt good to be out.
Visible, not hiding in my own walls. By afternoon, I bundled up and headed to the market. Fresh bread.
Cheese.
Vegetables for soup. Cashier smiled. "Nora, you look different, brighter." I smiled back. "Feeling it," I said. Back home, I simmered the soup. Aromas filled the house, warm, alive, the way it used to be before everything got minimalist. Phone buzzed, Clara. "Read that book yet?"
Some.
"Deep stuff." "He trying?" "Maybe." "Hooks you, though, makes you wonder what's next." We talked about the trip idea, laughed over imagined train mishaps. Imagine us stuck in a caboose with bad coffee. "Better than bad company," she said. I hung up lighter. Evening came, snow still falling, blanketing the world in quiet white. I picked the book back up. Another essay. Silence speaks when words fail, but action shouts. Andy's note in the margin beside it. "Missed your voice." My heart tugged. Was this his way back? Or just a band-aid on a wound too deep for tape? I watched from the window, wondering if the footprints would return. Part of me hoped.
Part braced.
Life after the lockout wasn't just reclaiming space. It was rebuilding trust, one page, one gesture, one careful step at a time. Then the phone rang late, Andy's number flashing. Answer, or let it ring. What would I do? Take the call, or hold my ground a little longer? The phone kept buzzing on the kitchen table, screen lighting up like a beacon in the dim room. Andy's name stared back at me, daring me to pick up. Heart pounding, curiosity warring with the guard I'd built over months. Let it go to voicemail?
Nah.
Time to face it. Swiped answer. "Hello." A pause on his end, like he didn't expect me. "Mom? It's me." I let a beat hang. "No who. Late for calls." "Sorry, just couldn't sleep." "Read the book." "Some," I said, keeping my tone neutral. Marked spots hit home. He let out a breath.
Good.
Picked it 'cause it reminded me of us, of what I messed up.
Us.
That word hung heavy. Why the library drop? Scared to knock. A chuckle. Nervous. Kinda didn't want to push. Push. Like he hadn't already shoved me out of my own door. But his voice cracked a little, raw. I kept listening. We danced across the surface first. Weather, work grind. Then deeper. Mom. I see now how I let Carla call shots. Thought it kept things smooth. Smooth for who? I asked. Silence.
Then, not you.
I get that. Admitting it?
Progress.
But words are cheap. Actions count, I said. Yeah, working on that. Curiosity piqued. What did working really mean? Divorce? Therapy? Or just talk? Hours passed. No yelling, no blame, just real talk. Ended with, can I come by tomorrow? Coffee. I hesitated, then nodded.
Morning.
9 sharp. Don't be late. Hung up, heart racing. Was this reconciliation or another setup? Sleep came lighter that night, hope flickering like the candle on the table. Next morning, snow softened, sun peeking over rooftops. Brewed coffee strong, table simple. 9 on the dot, knock. Andy stood there, hat in hand, looking like a kid caught sneaking cookies.
Come in.
He stepped careful, eyes scanning the house like it was new. Sat across from me, mug steaming. Thanks for this. I nodded. Start talking. He poured out how Carla's push started small, then grew, because he avoided fights. Feared losing her, lost you instead, he admitted, eyes glistening. Regret every bit, he whispered.
Y listanat, no interruptions.
Then I spoke. Hurt deep, Andy. Slept in car, felt erased.
He winced.
Worst part? Let it happen.
Yeah.
But hearing him own it stirred something inside me. We talked for hours, memories, good and bad. Laughed at old stories, him biking down the driveway, me patching his scraped knees. Curiosity built. Could we really rebuild?
I want to try, he said.
Slow. I nodded, step by step. He left with a hug. Awkward, but real. Door closed, and the house felt fuller. Trust? That'd be earned one small step at a time. Afternoon, Clara called. How'd it go?
Okay, hooks ja.
Wonder if it sticks. Give it time. Evening, I returned to the book. Essay on second chances caught my eye. Not given, built. I smiled. Snow stopped, sky clear. Life felt steady. But the next day, when Carla called, that threw a wrench. Would she try to undo what was finally starting to mend? Phone rang mid-morn, right after breakfast cleanup. Unknown number. Gut said trouble. Hello. Nora? It's Carla. Voice clipped, like always. Stomach flipped. What do you want?
Pause.
Talk about Andy us. Us. I raised an eyebrow.
Fine.
Say it. She admitted. He's been down since everything. Thinks he ruined family. Did. I said flat.
Sigh.
Look, I pushed too hard. Sorry if hurt.
If.
Planned lockout. No if. Quiet. Stressed. Saw chance to make ours. Ours? My house. Wrong, she admitted.
Surprise apologie?
Or trap. We talked tense. Her loss of loft. Feeling trapped, me as obstacle. I want to make it right. Dinner? Neutral ground.
Neutral?
My turf now. Think, I said, hung up. Mind spinning. Told Clara. Trap? Maybe. But curious, why now? Andy push. Afternoon, park bench, snow slushy. Locket in pocket, a gesture. But enough? Decision made. Meet my terms. Evening texted. Coffee shop downtown. 10 tomorrow. Quick reply. Okay. Next morning, cozy shop, fresh brew smell. She arrived punctual, jeans, sweater, nervous. Cut to the chase. Why really? Miss Andy happy. Knows he needs you. And you. Try understand. Stories shared. Tough upbringing. Fear of losing control. Humanized, but boundaries stayed. Hour passed. No fight, just talk. Left with, maybe start over? Slow. Hug light. Buzz from Andy later. Heard met Carla. Yeah. Thanks, Mom. For us. Evening book open. Essay on family men's. Hope flickered. Then Andy suggested a family dinner. What could possibly go wrong? A few days later, Andy texted. Dinner Friday? All three. My treat. Heart skipped. All three? After everything? Curiosity burned. Test or trap? Replied. Your place? Yeah, neutral. Week dragged. Mind raced. Good chat? Awkward silence? Blow up? Friday, dress nice drove over. Their apartment sleek, minimal, so Carla. Andy opened, smile wide.
Mom. Comain.
Hug warm. Carla in kitchen, apron, Italian smells drifting.
Y Nora.
Wine. Sure. Sat appetizers out. Talk light, weather, work. Then deeper. Andy. Wanted this cause Miss Family. Carla. Me too. Sorry for past. Nodded. Appreciate. Ate. Laughed over old tales, Andy's kid antics, Jim's jokes. Felt good, but watched.
No push, no es nide.
Dessert. Andy smiled. Hope this happens more. Slow, I said. Left. Buzzed, excitement real. Home. Peaceful. Maybe things could mend. Clara called. How? Good. Huxia, wonder what's next. Careful.
Yeah.
But then, in the attic, I found an old letter. Twists buried memory. Weekend after the dinner, I finally tackled the attic. Months of dust thick as snow. Ladder up, flashlight in hand, boxes stacked like forgotten promises. Started sorting. Old clothes, holiday decor, Jim's tools still oiled like he'd use them tomorrow. Curiosity pulled me deeper. What else was hidden up here? Pulled a box labeled Andy Kid Stuff, report cards, drawings, camp letters. One envelope caught my eye, my handwriting, sent to Andy at college. Opened carefully, paper yellowed. Son, miss you. House quiet without your music blasting. Dad says hi. Love, Mom. Simple, but hit hard. Remembered sending it, hoping he'd write back. Sometimes he did short notes. Thanks for care packages. Deeper in the box, another letter, his to me post-college. Mom, got the job. Thanks for believing.
Love ya.
Smile crept. But then I thought, when did the letter stop? When did Carla enter the picture? Excitement built. Maybe share these, spark more talks. Down the ladder, dusted off, called Andy. Found old stuff of yours. Wanna see? Yeah. Tomorrow? Come by. That night, I reread the letters. Huxia, how time changes bonds. Next morning, Andy arrived, coffee in hand. What did you find? Showed the box. Dug in, laughing over memories. Remember this drawing? You, as a superhero. Saved the day. Talk turned serious. Missed this. Me too. Left with the box pieces, closer than before. But then Carla's surprise visit? That tested the waters like nothing else. Week later, the doorbell rang. Unexpected, mid-afternoon. Me halfway through a puzzle. Peeked out. Carla alone, holding a bag.
Gut twisted, what now?
Open or ignore. Curiosity won. Open door. Carla.
Y Nora.
Can I come in? Stepped aside. What's up? She sat in the living room, bag on her lap. Brought something. Pulled out an apple pie, smell fresh. Made it. Peace offering. Pie from her? Thanks. Sliced, brewed coffee. Talk awkward at first, weather, garden. Then, wanted to say sorry properly. No excuse for the locks. Appreciate. Eyes sincere? Hard to tell. She shared more fears, how pushing hid insecurity. Didn't mean to erase you. Did though.
Nod. Yeah.
Working on me. Therapy mentioned, surprise. Hour passed, tension eased. Left with, hope more visits. Maybe. Door closed, pie half gone. Excitement, change real? Clara. Believe? Curious.
See.
But then Andy dropped the big news, and everything shifted again. That evening, Andy called, voice buzzing. Mom, guess what? Promotion at work. Congrats. Means more stable. Thinking about house hunting. House. Their own? Curiosity spiked. Serious? Yeah, no more crashing yours.
Laughed. Good.
But inside, relief, yes, but a twinge of missing what was. Talked plans, budget, neighborhoods. Want your input. Happy to help. Hung up, heart buzzing. Family shifting positive? Night fell. I picked up the book again. Essay on change. Embrace, don't fear.
Yeah.
Next day, met Andy for lunch. Discussed listings, laughed at bad photos. This one looks like ours, cozy. Yours now. Excitement built, a new chapter opening. But then old friend Chloe dropped news, and the plot twisted again. Next morning, mail slid under the door. Envelope thick, no return, handwritten in a script Nora didn't immediately recognize. Heart thumped. Opened careful. Documents, photos, something heavy. Old apartment building deeds, Andy's childhood photos, a note folded tight. Nora, for when trust matters most.
J.
Wait, J? Jim? Impossible, but handwriting undeniable. Folded papers smelled faintly of cedar, familiar from attic boxes. A mix of nostalgia and unease gripped. Could this be a hidden message from Jim's estate? Or someone guarding old secrets? Nora sat at the table, envelope spread before her, snow lightly tapping the windows. Chloe's upcoming stay, Andy's promotion, Carla's apology. All paled beside this mystery. Who sent it, and why now? This package could shift everything she'd just begun to rebuild. Next morning, a small package sat on the porch, no note, just delicate wrapping in pale blue. Heart skipped. Unwrapped careful. Handmade quilt, soft as a hug, stitched with tiny motifs of oak trees, bicycles, and coffee cups, memories of years with Jim and Andy. Signature stitched in corner. For Nora, love lives in walls. Tears pricked. Felt like a bridge across months of tension, a silent I see you from someone who remembered. Andy called soon after. Saw package? Yes, beautiful. Glad you like. For everything. House quiet, snow melting outside. Nora held quilt close, warmth spreading. Family slowly mending, boundaries respected, past acknowledged, but love still stitched in. Yet, a final note tucked under the quilt hinted at one last twist. Holiday week approached, lights up, streets buzzing. Nora felt tension rise, family dynamics, past cracks. Dinner invites? Gifts? Andy excited, Carla cautiously optimistic. Heart raced. Could peace hold, or old friction surface? She brewed tea, glanced at locket, album, quilt. All reminders of past battles, now softened gestures. Breath deep, ready to face holidays on her terms. But when Andy suggested holiday dinner at her house, would she say yes? New Year's Eve arrived crisp, snow-glinting streetlights. Nora sat by window, candle flicker, reflecting, past year's storms, lockouts, letters, pies, talks, all led here. Phone buzzed Andy. Mom, come downstairs.
Surprise.
Heart raced. Downstairs. Tiny tree, lights, homemade cookies, Andy grinning, Carla shy smile. Thought start year right. Warmth, laughter, small traditions rebuilt. Hope tangible, cautious, but real. Yet just as the clock neared midnight, a knock at the door? New Year morn, doorbell, Andy, Carla, big grins.
Surprise.
House, offer accepted. Wow. Tour photos. Cozy, like mine. Excitement peaked. Their roots. Our bond strong. Months later, visits regular. Respect solid. House mine, family close. Clarity won. Like, subscribe, share, your city in comments.